Hey guys, and welcome back to an episode of Become a God. So this week I've decided that I wanted to try and play a deck that could counter the meta. Now the meta in my region of the ladder, it may be different for you, is primarily Yellow Rush. I did a test run this morning, did an hour of play and marked down all the matchups I played against, and at least 60 to 70% of the matches I played were against Yellow Rush, which was pretty good for me because I'd built a deck to counter it. Now, I've been talking with some community members about the meta, and they say that Yellow Rush is the best ladder deck. And if it wasn't Yellow Rush, it'd be Yellow Tempo. The only reason Yellow Tempo isn't at top is because Yellow Rush absolutely dominates it. So that might be the deck for you guys to beat. Now, we're looking for solutions to this issue, and Green Beastmaster came up. A good tournament deck, but not a very good ladder deck, unfortunately. It does suffer at the hands of archetypes. So I decided to revisit an old favourite, and that is the Green-Yellow Sacrifice. Now, Green-Yellow Sacrifice didn't get much from the recent part of Fall of Everlife, but we did get our hands on Leia, another Death Touch creature, so another good way to answer the board. And so far, this deck has actually been doing very well against a lot of different decks, not just Yellow Rush. So Green-Yellow Sacrifice still has a place in the Will of Faeria. It just hasn't quite been explored, especially with the current power levels of Yellow and Red definitely taking up a lot of the top players' attention. But yeah, we're going to play some matches with this build. You might notice that I've added Leia. I don't have as many Fanatics as I used to run. I used to run 3 Fanatics. I needed to make space. I also have a 1-of Voice of Truth. Now, Voice of Truth is an interesting tech card because it can take monkeys down to 0-2, the ranged monkey. It can also reduce Zealous Crusaders as well. So it's a nice little Swiss Army knife against potential Yellow Rush threats. So let's get into some matches and see how this deck performs. Alright guys, into our first match here. Bone Collector, great early start. Always want to see Bone Collectors. Village Elders, Bone Collectors. These are pretty good to pick up early as well, especially if we're going up against Rush. It can eat a salmon. It can help chip away at a Sagami? Sagittarius. Too many Saggies in my life. But yeah, we're going to see a forest here. We're going to match with the Bone Collector. I'm going to set up in this region here and try and fend off our opponent. Now, I'm surprised I'm not playing against Yellow Rush, if I'm completely honest. This could just be Beastmaster Green, which is absolutely fine. This may be a long match, because we'll just grind out our opponent from our wells, do lots of sacks, lots of clears, and then we go for the big Soul Eater finish. Green blue. Okay, Obsidian. It's a spicy build. We're actually going to split off now because our opponent has. Our opponent has decided to collect off their own wells. We're going to do the same. If our opponent decided to build more down here, and it is now starting to gear towards pushing in this region, we're now going to have to defend from here instead, which is absolutely fine. Horsemaster's a little sad here, but it's fine. I think we can't really play around it at this point. I do want to find an assassin. Assassins are generally quite good against any kind of green decks. The Death Touch, can clear anything, and the protection is really annoying to deal with. But Emperor's Command could be picking up in popularity, mainly due to the Shadow Silk Fairy, but also, unfortunately, affects us as well with the Green-Yellow Sack. Alright, so let's get a Flash Salmon sandwich for our Bone Collector here. Just play the Flash Salmon down, let it die, draw a card, and gain power up. So basically, it's 1 Faeria for +1/+1 on a Bone Collector, or multiple Bone Collectors, and you also get card draw as well. So it's pretty good. So this is probably a Rain of Fish deck. I haven't played this matchup yet, so I'm not entirely sure how good it is. But I guess we'll find out. We're going to move... Actually, I can give up Faeria. I'm going to give up Faeria for a power-up off this sack. We're going to sack this guy here. Oh, hello. Yep, we'll get you down. I like that. I think we could pass here. We could even... Actually, we could even... go for a Gift of Krakoa. But we are in Frogify range? I'm not sure about that. I think we just chill for a bit. See what our opponent gets up to. We've both kind of done our own thing. Not much interaction between us yet. Virgin Force is going to move there. That kind of works out just fine for us. We can use the Fanatic here to push across. Oh, these going to get so much value. So yeah, we're going to do something here. We're going to move. We're going to desert here. Then we are going to spider. Ah, no, that doesn't work out how I wanted it to. I wanted to kill this with a wind soldier. But I'd have to kill... I want to clear the Virgin Force as well, so maybe I just have to bite the bullet here and just accept that these are going to get value. So we're going to eat that up. And then we're going to get the Fanatic, and the Fanatic's going to move us in between the wells here. I could still Wind Soldier this. I think that's okay. Because I just want to get more power on our lady here. And we can move this guy, clutter around here just in case there's some frog tosses going on. Yeah, okay. So a Gift of Krakoa on Leia is pretty good actually. I've been using it in other matchups as well, especially against Yellow Rush. Because not only is it a pain to kill at that point, it's also annoying in other ways. Because for Yellow Rush especially, I think it's a little frustrating. Flash Salmon. So I can Gift of Krakoa the Fanatic here. But I think we take a draw. It's going to be an assassin. Okay. This is a tough one. This is really a tough one. I feel like I can move the Fanatic here, play the Flash Salmon on this spot, and then Gift of Krakoa the Fanatic, clear this out, and then collect. And then there's 2 threats that my opponent has to deal with. I also have the option of sacking this guy as well with a Wrangler to get a flyer in between the wells. I feel I'm going to go for that line. We'll do it this way. This can move up here as well. We can move this here. And then play an assassin. Play a Demon Wrangler. Go for the Gift of Krakoa. Nice and big. We've only got 2 in the deck, but I'm now starting to feel that perhaps I want more. Now I would, like back in the day, I would have played a Soul Eater here just for tempo. The problem is Soul Eater doesn't gain power ups when it's on the field anymore. It did get changed a few weeks ago. So that's a bit of a problem for Soul Eater now. You can't preemptively play them and just let them soak up stats from the sacrifices and the creatures dying. You gotta keep them in hand and then play them a little later. Going for the clear. So it's just a giant frog tosser. So Leia, okay, so interesting. We got double layer action going on here. I'm gonna keep my layer intact. We're gonna go for a draw. Voice of Truth. Okay, that could become very useful later on. This is going to start moving over here. Gonna sack the Demon Wrangler. Get a power up here. Oh no! I played the wrong one. I'm very silly. That was a mistake. Mistakes were made. I was meant to play the Assassin, not the Demon Wrangler, to challenge the Leia. Leia now gets value. I guess I could use my Demon Wing. It's just not as good. So a misstep from me there, unfortunately. I would have played the Demon... What I should have done was move this here, then Demon Wrangle this, get the sack power up, and then Demon Wrangle there. Not Demon Wrangle, sorry, Shaitan Assassin. I've confused myself. Okay, right. That's fine. It is a misstep, but I can use these two to finish off Leia if she comes down, and keep my Leia intact, and then play another Assassin later on. That's a Crystal Flower, I think. No. Very interesting. Okay, so we can use the Wind Soldier here. I'm gonna get an aggressive desert, just for later. Let's get those Soul Eaters going. This Demon Wing can move up. I'm gonna move this here. Let's put the heat on here. I just want to apply pressure. That's where I want it. That's what I'm up to now. Make sure that a lot of pressure is applied here. Yeah. Okay. So we're slowly pushing up now. I'm not going to play my Soul Eaters until they're absolutely massive. that's my plan. I'm definitely causing a lot of problems here. You can see these defensive neutrals coming down. But I've already got that aggressive desert now, so I'm in a good position. Excellent. Two for one there on the Assassin. Verdant Force. No collection from Leia. Sweet. Okay, so now I'm going to move this into double collection. I'm going to take a draw. Just want to get Soul Eaters at this point. Another Bone Collector. So we don't want to move in range of this. This is fine. We can move this here. Go for another Assassin. And I'm going to stick a Bone Collector down here. Just to collect off this world, in case I want the Demon Wing to do something a little aggressive. I'm still going to quad collect next turn. Just bullying my opponent out of the game here with Assassins. Oh, going for the collection, just accepting the inevitability of the Assassin here. This could be a Frog Tosser. This could be a giant ball. Wow, that's a big ball. Into Aurora on Leia. Okay. Ring of Fish. And a Gift of Rakoa. Oh, put all the money here on the boar. And we are just gonna clean out this boar very easily. It did not work out. This is still a problem. I think Assassin's gonna take care of this for now. So this is gonna clear this here. We know that for certain. So let's do the Voice of Truth first. And we get 2 power-ups here. We move here, eat this fish. I'm gonna move down. Actually, no, we can clear this fish here. Then we're gonna eat Aurora. take out Leia pretty convincingly there. Should have taken a draw in all of this, to be honest. Yeah, I should have taken a draw first, because yeah, I could have gotten maybe another bone collector proc. But yeah, we're gonna go for the Soul Eater. You know what? I'm even gonna eat you as well, fish. We're gonna have you for dinner, just to make life awkward. Now I have the Bone Collector and the Leia to finish off the Shimmering statue. And just goes to show that Voice of Truth is also very good against Fish deck. Especially if they're reliant on pre-buffing. Voice of Truth, you know, maybe this is a card the meta needs right now. I didn't even play this matchup today before I started recording, so I didn't even think of using Voice of Truth in this way. I was just targeting the Monkeys and the Zealous Crusaders, but pretty good card so far. Let's get into another match. Alright guys, another match ahead of us. This is really, really good hand. I have a sack target for the Assassin, have a Bone Collector to start snowballing early. Pretty happy overall with this hand. Let us start off with a Bone Collector, I guess. I could use the Village Elder instead. Like, I could play Village Elder, Desert, collect, wait a turn, Desert again, play Bone Collector, sack it, and get that power up immediately. This could get Cypher's Wrath, this could get Flame Burst. It's kind of bad either way. But we'll see if we can greed it out a little bit, keep the Village Elder alive. It's not a bad trade-off really for me if this gets Cypher's Wrath or Flame. If this gets Cypher's Wrath, I draw a card. So 2 Faeria spent each and I draw a card. If this gets Flame Burst, I get my opponent spends an extra Faeria with that. Ooh. That's an interesting draw. It's a very interesting draw. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna do this. Seems reasonable. I kill a Collector and I gain a power up as well, putting it outside of Flame Burst range. Now, against the new red control, I'm not entirely sure how well Sack does against it anymore, simply because they have Havoc. They can Havoc my Soul Eaters now. So I probably have to play super conservative. Just kind of sit back, harvest, get my guys killed, get a massive Soul Eater and go from there. I might not have that luxury because of this card here. This card is a massive problem. Because now everything I sack is going to deal damage to me. So while Green Nail Sacrifice may have a good matchup against Yellow Rush, it definitely has an awful matchup against this red control deck. Simply because now red control runs Bloodsinger. And they just kind of sit back and wait. Bloodsinger. Fire Bomb, Blood Song. Lots of blood being used here. Okay. So I am I don't really want to, but I am going to sack this and take the 2 damage. I need a cycle, and I want to get this down to challenge the Bloodsinger, because next turn I can use mobility with the Fanatic to finish this off, which could work out pretty well for me. I could use these 2. Don't really want to, but yeah, we'll see what happens next. See, 0 cost Havoc, killing my Bone Collector for 2 damage into a Hellfire. And the game is already almost over after a crazy Blood Song. Not entirely sure what I'd do from this position, unfortunately. It's not very good. Not a very good answer. optimistic to believe this will stay alive as well. I haven't actually seen a Bloodsong build of red like this yet. Cypher's 4 damage, 2 Faeria 4 damage. So this, if you're playing against this deck a lot in your part line, don't play Sag. It's not worth it. You will just get destroyed. Yeah. So I'm gonna throw in the towel here. Very quick match, unfortunately. But that is pretty much a god hand against a matchup that this is already incredibly favored against. You know, going to Havoc into Hellfire off the Bloodsong. Absolutely ridiculous. But yep, this deck does have bad matchups. And this is one of the issues with the whole anti-Yellow Rush strategy. You can gear your deck to beat Yellow Rush, but you'll probably lose against other matchups. Whereas Yellow Rush, on the other hand, it can still win against anti-rush decks, and it can just play its normal game plan. So unfortunately, Yellow Rush has the advantage in terms of deck building at the moment. It's just so powerful right now that it kind of warps the meta around it. This does pretty well against Rush, but can still lose. It can still get blown out. Same with Green Yellow Sacrifice. But we haven't actually played against any Yellow Rush, so maybe I used up all my Yellow Rush games earlier on when I was just doing some testing. But yeah, let's get into another match. This was a quick one. We'll write this one off, and yeah, we'll see if we can do a little bit better. Alright guys, into another game here. Got a Village Elder and Demon Wrangler. Another Village Elder as well. That's not too bad. And we have to explore. This is the money. This is the money play for Green Yellow Sac. This is the best you can get with an opener. But let's see what our opponent's playing. It's going to be a lake into a Triton Diver. Interesting. Okay. So we go Desert, Explore, Elder, Wrangler, Stack. Feels good. So we get to collect off 2 wells off turn 1, which is always very good. Is this coming forward? Triton Diver just going right. Time to kill the Demon Wing. Into a Triton Warrior. Now these are gonna... I feel that these are gonna trade anyway. It's a little unfortunate. But I need to kill this... I need to kill this creature. It does need to happen at some point. So, well, yeah, we'll take the collection. Could actually just... I don't know. Do I just move here? I had the dream, but the Triton Diver ruined the dream. You know what? I'm fine with these trading. I'm absolutely fine with it. I'll set up an Elder on this side. And I'm gonna assassin. No, we'll wait. Because I'll assassin. I'll let the Elder collect, and then I'll assassin the Elder while I move the Demon Wrangler back. Wait, not going for the trade? No, might actually back out. Might value the Faeria collection here. I mean, it's a good opportunity. Going for the middle instead. Interesting. I could just Wind Soldier it now. I can Wind Soldier it, protect my Demon Wing. You know what? I am very interested to see how this goes if I decide for the Wind Soldier. Because not only do I keep my Demon Wing now, which can move into double collection, I also give lands for my opponent to jump on. Yeah, I'm curious. This is not a line... It's a bit of an unconventional line, perhaps. I don't know, it's hard to say. Try and Trainer. Runin's Messenger. Wow. I like this deck. This deck's cool. This deck's very cool. Yeah, we're just gonna come back, and I guess we can start building our forests. Get towards the Soul Eater. It's shimmying across here. Both collecting off our own wells. Oh, I do pick up the Deepwood Stalker. Move back. Yeah, we'll go for the clear. Now, if this comes down here to challenge my Demon Wing, I can Voice of Truth it and then finish it off. It looks like it's going to go into the wells, which makes sense. That's fine. To another Triton Diver. Alright. Into a spider. Feels good. Alright, we are going to take this for our Wind Soldiers. You know what? I don't mind so much if this clears my guy. I can just finish it off with a spider, or I can use a Wrangler. I think that's absolutely fine. We're starting to build up a good advantage here. We're getting a lot of creatures into combat. You know, creatures are getting sacked, creatures are dying. Soul Eater is building up. We do have to be aware of Frogify, but currently there's only 2 lakes. So this may actually be my best opportunity to get a Soul Eater down. Oh wow, going for the buff. Into a Kodama. Oh my goodness. What is all this? Okay. There's a lot of buffs that can happen this turn. I feel like I care less about the Kodama in this situation. I can buff this up to a 3/5 with a Wind Soldier. Unless I move this here first, play the Bone Collector, clear, Wind Soldier, clear. That puts this up to a 4/6 because I'll get the power up off the Messenger. I think that's okay. That means I can take a draw this turn at least. To a Demon Wrangler. Okay, that's pretty good. I like this. Okay, so we play the Bone Collector. Here. Here. Move these here. And then we can wrangle our friend. And there we go, just going to throw in the towel there. Just too many power-ups going down. I'd be able to fend off a lot of aggression here. I had that Voice of Truth in hand just in case there was like a Gift of Recover or something. So yeah, I had a pretty good defensive line there. And eventually, it's going to take a long time, but I'm just going to grind out my opponent, get that Soul Eater down. And without Frogify, which I don't think this deck runs, especially if it goes at the Free Forest, you just won't be able to handle it. But there we have it, win on the board. Feels good, guys. Let's get into another match. Alright, guys, another match. We also have the Dream once again. Let's keep the Dream. Oh, and a Bone Collector. Best hand, guys. This is the best hand one could want. Then we don't get the double collection, but we get a power up on the Bone Collector, which is always very cool. Desert, could be Rush, could be Saggy Rush. So yeah, we do get the Demon Wrangler on this side. So I desert here, I explore here, move, and then I sack a village elder next to my bone collector. This looks like it's tempo instead of rush. Oh, Windstorm Charger. We're getting old school here. See how we explore. We can play... It doesn't quite work as well as the non-Bone Collector opener. But it puts a lot of power on the right side, which is where my opponent is going to apply pressure. We can desert here next turn. Training. I'm gonna fly over. Maybe just take a mobility trick to kill the Bone Collector. That works out fine. This is going to lose its power up next turn, and then we can use the Deepwood Stalker to finish this off. The only problem is I do open myself up for this to get Wind Soldiered. It's kind of sad, but yeah, it happens, unfortunately. But we're still in a decent position. We're still kind of defending. Not too much pressure being applied to us right now. We need one more Deserts down, definitely. Maybe even on here. Depends very much what happens next. Just so I can Wind Soldier some threats away. And then we can go for the card draw. Because Soul Eater takes time to grow. You can take a draw. You don't really need to build up to 6 lands specifically. Like, you need 3 forests for runing, so if you have runing in hand, then sure, you know, get your runing down, but other than that, you don't really need it. I could try Spirit Theft in this deck. I've only just considered it right now, actually. That might be something worth experimenting with in the future. Instead of running Flash Salmon, going for Spirit Theft. That is a lake. Okay. It's interesting. Into a Shadow Silk Fairy. And an Imperial Drake Rider. Lots of mobile threats I don't really want to deal with, unfortunately. I'll just take that there and we'll go for an Assassin on this side. And the Assassin is to challenge the Drake Rider. Drake Rider is going to want to collect on the left-hand side. It may even, with a couple of mobility tricks, it may get into a position where it can get onto a land, like this land maybe, like down, across. It's a bit weird, actually. But Assassin on this side, it stops, at least stops the Imperial Drake Rider from coming down here without an answer. So I'm just trying to reduce the Faeria collection options my opponent has in this position. I'm also in a good spot if I pick up a Fanatic. And I'm starting to realize I'm missing the Fanatics more than I expected. I could double neutral, move, Fanatic. No, I won't be able to do it this turn. It'd have to be next turn. Another Drake Rider. Where is punishment when you need it? Take a draw. Not that useful, unfortunately. Now I can shimmy these across into a different position. So this blocks the Drake Rider, and then this just gets cleared by the Silk Fairy. It might bait out a Wind Soldier, so I'm gonna try it. We're gonna reposition like this. I could actually Voice of Truth this. I don't think that's terrible. I know I can Voice of Truth these guys, but right now they trade, so meh, I don't know. That might come to bite me in the backside, but we'll see. I'd rather keep my spider alive and keep collecting. We have Gift of Krakoa now as well, so if I'm able to get more creatures on the board, I can power up a guy. Goes for a draw. Okay. The lake implies tow ship to me. Unless it's just some mind game my opponent's playing with me, but you never know. Yeah, I doubt it. I doubt this is a lake mind game. Like, so potentially shifting tides, could see the tow ship, the Oversky tow ship. There we go, shifting tides. Just like I said. Where is my desert going? Might move it up. And then use the Shadow Silt plus, like, Spirit Theft to clear the Demon Wing and then move onto the land and gain the problem. The Corrupt for a +2/+2 buff. You know, I'm going to go for the Training instead. Takes the Collection. Does sacrifice... Yeah, it does sacrifice something here. This isn't completely foolproof, you could say. I can take a land here. No. I can clear this, take a land here, double Wind Soldier. Gift of Rakoa. It's only +3 at this point. I can take a land here and then play Wind Soldier, Gift of Rakoa, the Spider. Move the kill this with the Wind Soldier, move up with the Spider, and then eat this guy up. This guy then will gain the Corruption. This might move here. Yeah, it's all a little awkward actually. This assassin needs to come into play somehow. Yeah, let's just do it this way. Yeah, we're gonna clear this. I'm gonna Wind Soldier here. I'm gonna gift this. Finish this off, move this here, and then move this here and finish off the Faeria. So now there's value to be gained from the Voice of Truth, but if my opponent doesn't have a Nightmare, I do have a way to manage this Corrupt ability. I'm not sure if this was the best line. I was running out of time and I was trying to think of a better way to manage my resources there, and it just felt good getting a 6/8 down, just something that's bulky, but I am playing against yellow. Yellow has an answer to everything, unfortunately. Can take value on the Voice of Truth, gain a Faeria. There's a Nightmare in play, pretty far behind. Decides to go for the Corruption, so that kind of indicates to me there isn't a Nightmare. Unless just taking Corruption instead, maybe double neutral down, clear with the Fanatic. Takes an aggro land. Yeah, gets the value. Where are we at with a Soul Eater? An 8/8, that's not too bad. We now have this desert in a good position to cause problems. What's happening? Time's running out. Flash Wind into Colossus. Okay. That's pretty good. It's a little better than Soul Eater, actually. Let's take a draw. It's pretty good as well. So yeah, we're going to just bump this up again, just so the Fanatic can't clear it without some help. This could trade, that's fine, but then Leia gets to finish off Fanatic. Now my biggest fear is Spirit Theft. The thing is, I can't play around everything Yellow has. This is the frustrating thing about playing against yellow at the moment. They just have an answer to everything, and their answers are just so efficient. So I ain't playing around anything against yellow. There's just no point, because they've just got too many good answers these days. Just be brave, be bold, guys. If you have a play you want to make, don't think, I might get nightmared. I mean, you could make a read. It could pay off. But don't play around everything. Not against yellow. It's just too stressful. Does take the trade. That's like, so I'm fine with that. Does take the clear. Spirit theft. Yes, of course. And then Leia gonna come down. And a Shadow Silk Faeria to boot. See, that was a really good answer to a problem I had, but just got messed up by Spirit Theft. Which means I now can't play a Soul Eater this turn, which is what I wanted to do, but no, not really an option. And I drew kind of bad. I might double neutral here to get a land in this position. I might double neutral here and here, actually. Move the assassin back. Then we'll pass, and then I can take a land here, and then my Soul Eater has a clean path to set up a 2-turn clock. This can't get a corruption trigger without a mobility trick, but we are playing against yellow. Here we go. Mobility. So I could dig for the Nightmare, which will answer my Soul Eater now. Okay. Another Soul Eater. So I'm in a situation where I just need to close my eyes and hope that my opponent does not have the answer. That's where I'm at right now. We've just seen 2 events triggered, tutored, sorry, from the Shadow Silk Faeria. So we could see 1 Nightmare, but I have the second Soul Eater to back it up. So hopefully the second Soul Eater will live. There's also mobility again, so Leia could answer my Soul Eater without even needing the last Nightmare, which would be probably the most tragic thing of all. But I just seen a Fanatic, so I'm willing to take the gamble here that there's no mobility after seeing the Fanatic. This is one of potentially 2, I believe. Is that a Spirit Theft? Spirit Theft on my Assassin is one of the most miserable things that can happen to me right now. And that's just Nightmare, right? So Spirit Theft and Nightmare. The double whammy. We're going to see a sack. We're going to see the Assassin. So I probably have the Remembrance command in this deck now. Just to play not only around this card, but also play around my opponent's... Spirit Theft in my stuff. This is sad. Oh, I do find a spider at least. I guess I can play for value. Another Soul Eater. Just salt in the wounds at this point. I do have 3 Soul Eaters in hand. I could potentially bully my way out of this problem. Setting up the Shimmering Statue on my land is kind of annoying. But it does create an obstacle for my opponent as well. Could just collect off the well instead. That kind of solves that problem quite well. Double neutral. Mobility trick? Oh, come on. It's actually not as bad as it could be. Depends if, like, we see another Colossus or something. Because now I can just go up here, I guess. Another Shadow Silk Faeria. Oh, no. That's just going to find another Nightmare. Well, we haven't even seen a Nightmare yet. That's going to find the inevitable Nightmare. We did have my opponent highlight this, so it does kind of indicate to me that there's probably something like a Nightmare. +1. Let's spider this. Alright, we're just going to race now. We're just try and race with these 2 Soul Eaters. I can move here, clear the Archer, and then go in with the 11-11. I can also play a land here, and then Wind Soldier this, and then go in with the 11-11. So I have a few options. It just very much depends on what my opponent's options are. Nightmare being a pretty scary thing for me right now. I'm just waiting now to see what happens. Okay, so takes the draw. I would have liked to have seen Shadow Silk move onto my land first, and then seen what events were drawn before going for the draw there, and then +1 Nightmare is an option. Shoots me. Take it down to 8. That's with the land there. So that's another 1 damage. So 10, 3, 7. That's just lethal with a Wind Soldier. So I may have to use a Soul Eater in this position. Oh no, just gonna move me. Archer. So yeah, we get to Wind Soldier. I can't gain any additional Faeria. I need 1 more Faeria, ideally. I can actually Wind Soldier here, so I can still +1. It's not looking good. It's not looking good. This guy can't really do a lot. Sit here. All right, so this is my last play. I'm just trying to block as many attack options as I can. Shadow Silk did fetch 2 more cards from the deck. I'm gonna lose my 1 Soul Eater to layer potentially if there's no lethal setup here. I'm just, like, say, crossing my fingers, hoping there isn't a Nightmare. which is very unlikely. And yeah, just trying to stay alive. I don't know, like, I guess there isn't a nightmare? Oh, there isn't an answer? It takes a draw? So no nightmare unless there's a soul pact. Maybe this deck doesn't run it. Could be possible. We've seen 2 Spirit Thefts. So Shifting Tides as well, I need to make room for that card. This looks like to be some kind of pew-pew deck, if we look at the charges and archers. So maybe it doesn't even run it. Damage, damage. Shifting Tide. Fanatic. Shoot my assassin. Soul Theft. No nightmare. Played around nightmare all day and I still get the win here. Wow. That was a tough game. Goodness, that was a very difficult game. I think we're going to do one more before we wrap up this episode. Let's get to it. Alright guys, into our final match of this episode. I don't mind keeping layer actually. I know it's a little slow, but it's definitely a threat and it can keep me in the match. See what our opponent's playing against. We haven't played against any rush. The last few hours I've played, no rush at all. Started off with tons of rush. I couldn't actually get away from rush. I played 3 yellow rush matchups in a row, which I was fortunate enough to win them all in a row. But yeah, this deck needs to also be able to match up against non-yellow rush decks. It can be difficult. I'm starting to see a lot of blue today as well. Things change. Maybe it depends what time everyone's awake. Maybe certain players are awake. We get to see them play the Yellow Rush. A lot of the higher level players are just playing Yellow Rush now because it's the best deck. They've all come to agreement it's the best deck in the game. But I haven't played against Est or Teddy or anyone. I played against Xged earlier twice. We went 1-1 in the end. I didn't really have a good hand. I had a lot of Soul Eaters in hand, and there wasn't a lot I can do with them. So this is actually green-blue, which is good. I'd rather play against green-blue than Dreamreaver, because I can't answer libraries. But against green-blue, I can just grind them out. It does work quite well. I can just sit back, I can just clear everything that they produce, and just flood with loads of creatures. Ring of Fish can be a problem, but as you can see, I do have a Voice of Truth to check those Gift of Recoas. I'm gonna take this guy out now with a Wind Soldier. Stop some Faeria collection. And I have another Wind Soldier then to push up. With Soul Eater at, not really big right now, not really worth investing in. Battletoads again. Feels bad. If I pick up a Spider, I'll definitely clear the right side. I can Spider this, and then I can Desert here, and then I can Wind Soldier across here. But not too keen otherwise. It's a 3/7. More Soul Eaters. This happened a lot to me today. It's really annoying. I'm like, yeah, I just need cards that aren't Soul Eater. That would be fantastic. I don't want Soul Eaters yet. Give them to me about 10 turns time. Or 5 to 10 turns time. There's the problem. That's the biggest problem with Soul Eater as a win condition. It's such a dead draw. That's just a whiff. You know, I could have built land this turn. I could have, if I picked up a Spider, I probably wouldn't have went for the play because of the Octopus. I get Runing at least. I can get Runing going. That's not too bad. Might see a Phantasm here, or an Aurora, or a Frogify at this point. I've just seen another lake. Could see Ring of Fish. I think this is a Ring of Fish deck. It looks like it. Fugoro. Right back there. Seeing the fourth lake makes me kind of afraid because of Runin. I don't think Runin will live. Yeah, it's going to be Ring of Fish. Gift of Rakoa. Kind of has to at this point. The frog isn't enough to finish off Leia. A Ring of Fish again. Ah, are you serious? Come on. Yeah, I'm in a bit of trouble. That's for sure. Because a Gift of Rakoa is going to murder me. I'm just going to die. Oh, man. Why do I have to deal with this? See, this is just useless now. It's not a lot I can do when it comes to trying to keep it around. I guess I could Gift of Rakoa it. It's probably the best option here. Goes up to a 5/5. That's not bad. 1 fish, 2 fish, frog. Not enough to clear it. Do you know there was the light Sapphire ran a famine build of one of his decks to counter this in the most recent Kaleem's Open? You know, I think famine is a fantastic card to just answer this problem. But but famine is not great. It's not a great card, unfortunately. It's good in this matchup, but outside this matchup, you might find some value on Yellow Rush if they play monks and followers, but a lot of Yellow Rush doesn't really use that anymore. They're just gone for the more mobility-driven builds with, you know, the Demonic Salmons, the Flash Salmons, Dune Drakes, Manta Riders. Yeah, so it's difficult to tech in a card like Famine because it might not be effective. It might just be a dead draw. I'm gonna kill my Alright, I'm gonna kill that first. Four lakes also means Frogify. Aurora on a fish. Kill my assassin. That's fine. They used up Aurora. I'm kind of cool with that, to be honest. Ugh. This card just keeps showing up. I do need to start playing Emperor's Command. I don't really have a choice at this point. Okay, so I can desert here, clear this, and then Fanatic to finish off the Fairy. I'm just playing 3 Fairy to knock off a 2 Fairy of protection. Does not seem good at all. But if my opponent finds Gift of Rakoa, I'm just gonna lose. So I need to do something, even if it's bad. So Frogify is one of my biggest fears going forward. Another Ring of Fish is also pretty terrifying. Gift of Rakoa. There's a lot of things I'm scared of right now. But I don't know, maybe we can hold off. We've seen 2 Ring of Fish. And I killed the Shadow Silk, so hopefully Gift of Rakoa isn't found. And we just start seeing stuff like Water Elementals, and we also got Frog Tosser to deal with. I completely forgot about Frog Tosser. Frog Tosser probably wins a game here. Spirit Rebirth, that's a big problem as well. moves across into another Shadow Silk Fairy. There's a Gift of Krakoa. One. Yeah, this is looking pretty bleak. I did find a spider. Yay, I can kill the Shadow Silk Fairy before it finds another Gift of Krakoa. But yeah, this is not looking great, is it? It's looking pretty dire. Can't really stop 13 damage gun to my face this turn. Not an option. I'm looking, I'm just like, yeah, this isn't really viable. So now I gotta hope there's no Frogify, or just hope there's not another Gift of Krakoa, which is very unlikely. The Shadow Silk Fairy going to move on to my lands. Alright. Let's see the win here off the Shadow Silk Fairy. Jump over, Gift of Krakoa, and I'm done. Oh, no gift. Interesting. But can just clear my two... Oh, there we go. Frogify coming out. Yeah, let's wrap this up, guys. And then we have it. I think this episode didn't do what I intended it to do, which is to show that I can fight Rush. It actually proved a problem with anti-Rush decks, that they just get beaten by other stuff. That's the biggest issue. You can't really tunnel vision against anti-Rush unless you're almost certain that, you know, at least 60 to 70% of your matches are always going to be Yellow Rush. That was the case for me this morning. When I started playing, I actually tallied down my first hour and what I played against, and it was 4 Yellow Rush. It was 1 Dream Reaver, and it was 1 Blue-Green. So I did actually tally down, and then when I start this episode, I didn't see any Yellow Rush at all. But I think I may play this tomorrow, next episode, sorry. But it depends. We'll see how things go. That does conclude this episode of Become a God featuring my green-yellow sacrifice. I definitely feel that it needs to change. It needs to be able to challenge the meta. I could use Spirit Theft. I think that might help me stall out. It's a bit expensive in lands for a dual color deck, but I think I can get by. Another card I can consider is Emperor's Command as well. Those Shadow Silk Fairies just give me so much trouble. It's just too expensive to kill them for me, unless I have lots of creatures on board. But Shadow Silk Fairy definitely a huge problem as well. But yeah, it's a tough one to deal with, especially when you're trying to answer the Yellow Rush meta, and then no Yellow Rush shows up for the episode. So we'll see what happens in our next episode of Become a God. I might try a different version of this and see if we do find that matchup. Or I might try a completely different deck altogether. If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, drop a subscribe to keep up to date of when our content goes live. You can check out some of my other videos from last week, 2 special episodes from Modnik, some spicy brews there. And there's some very cool decks. I definitely recommend checking them out. So until next time, guys, take care and enjoy my green-yellow sacrifice.